Hello. Uh, I made a video yesterday, and I have my little mic thing here. See the green light? Well, I made a 20-minute video, and there was no sound. Apparently, the green light was off. I forgot to turn it on. But that's the universe, and things like that happen. There were things I said on that video that the universe didn't want me to say. Now I don't know what they were. So, I've been thinking about it. It could have been a few things. I don't know that it was one thing. It could have been a few things. So, you know me, if you know my videos, I say things. So, I pretty much don't have a filter. Uh, but I want to point this out. I have a white Bose earbud, Quiet Comfort 2, and a black Bose earbud, Quiet Comfort 2. I have both colors, but which is good to have two colors because if they were both one color, it'd be a little difficult to tell who's who. But the white one is my iPad Air, and the black one is my iPad Pro. So I can listen to both, and I play music on the one, and I listen to it, and I play like YouTube videos on the other, and I listen to it, and I listen to both at the same time. And if I hear a song that I want to listen to, I just tap it and turn off the video. And if I hear something in the video I want to listen to, I just tap it and turn off the music. And it's kind of messed up like that. And I got the TV on in the background besides that I'm sitting here in front of. And if anything comes up on the TV that I want to watch, I can X out all the iPads and watch the TV. And the TV is on YouTube TV, so I have YouTube TV on all the iPads, so I can watch it anywhere. I mean, and not to mention, I have my phone, so I have many options, you know. And that's the beauty of Apple, where they cross relate. You can do one thing and have it on another, and you don't have to go crazy trying to get things on another device. And I have the AirPod Pros, the twos, Pro twos, and the only problem with them is you can only listen to one at a time. If you're on the iPad Pro, then the Air doesn't play, and if you're on the Air, the Pro doesn't play. And I like to do both, so that's why I use the Bose. But they're not on now. I'm not listening to anything now. They're just in my ear. But it's just my little crazy world. I'm just letting you in my little crazy world. Yeah. I'm just laying here. It's raining. There's tornadoes all over Jersey. I'm in New York, but there's tornadoes all over Jersey. And now, Long Island is pretty much getting spared. I think the news is all on the weather, so it's kind of boring. Unless you got the weather coming down on you, which I don't. So, just laying here, hanging out in my overalls, just talking to you, making a video, enjoying my. I love rainy days. I really do love rainy days. You can stay in the house and you don't have to feel like you're not doing nothing where you should be out. You know. And I go to the mall on rainy days because there's a lot of people at the mall and a lot of girls. You know, on a rainy day, where it's a nice hot sunny day, there's nobody at the mall. But sometimes because they like the air conditioning, so they go to the mall and they go to eat and stuff. But anyway, uh, that's not why I made the video or started the video. Like I said, I started a video yesterday and the light was off. I didn't realize it was off, and it had no sound. So, and this might not have no sound either because I don't check it until it's over. I know the light's on and I have all my setups, so it should work, but never know. It's not worked before, so you know. But problem is I don't know all the things I said in that video. I can't recopy that video because I don't write it as a script. I just do it off the top of my head, and the thing with me is I don't like talking about the same thing twice. So it's like, oh, I already did that. That's like yesterday's news. like I don't want to rehash it again, you know. But you didn't hear yesterday's news because the sound was off. So I do want to bring it up, and I think the focal point of the message was that that I'm a mirror, you know, and I'm treated like a mirror, and you know, when you go to a festival or a carnival and they have that funhouse mirror trailer, you know, and a lot of people go in there and they see their weird face is all distorted, and well, they look tall and they're really small, or they look small and they're really tall, you know, because that's the whole idea of the trailer and the mirrors to play on how you see things, you know. But I don't do that. I don't distort your vision. I am precise. I am like if you are ugly, uh, you are ugly when you look at me. Uh, but if you're pretty too. And you know, the point I was making in the other video that didn't get put up was, you know, a lot of people have a pimple on their face, you know, and young people more than older people, I think, but older people too. But young people, they get really disturbed by a pimple on it. They don't want to go to school that day because they have a pimple, you know, stuff like that. And I I bring out the pimple on their face. You know, not that I caused the pimple. I bring out the fact that it's there. You know, and this is a metaphor of a pimple. It's not an actual pimple, but you can use it as a metaphor because people have a pimple and they put cover up on it. Uh, they'll pop it. They'll do they do cleanses. They do masks. They do all kinds of things to prevent the pimple, and they do a lot of things to cover it up. But regardless of what they do, there's the pimple, you know, and the cover up washes away. The mask only works so much, you know, and you have a pimple, and you're always gonna have pimples. But it's your attitude towards the pimple that is what the difference is. You know, if you go into the mirror right now and or when the video's over, and you find a pimple, it's your attitude when you see that pimple that really says who you are. Uh, if you hate the pimple, if you hate yourself because of the pimple, like you're less than, you're not worthy of, like the person that doesn't want to go to school because they have a pimple, because they feel less than. They don't. They think everybody else, like they'll walk into a room, classroom, say, and everybody in the classroom sees the pimple, and they don't, and they don't care about the pimple, uh, but they'll notice your uneasiness, and they'll be like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you acting this way?" And like, "Oh, I got a pimple." Yeah, yeah. Now other people have a pimple. Like, yeah, so I got a pimple. What's the big deal? Like, I've had a lot of them. You know, and it's not a big deal. You know, like me, I got no teeth. Care? I don't care. I don't think I look bad with no teeth. A lot of people tell me they can't even tell that I have no teeth. You know, stuff like that. So, and I never really cared about my teeth. I guess because my teeth were always bad, and I just got used to them always being bad, and never there was no you couldn't use a whitener or anything like that. It was way beyond anything like that. And you know, a lot of crack, a lot of pot, a lot of cigarettes, not brushing my teeth. My mother was a horrible mother. Didn't teach me any basic skills. You know, and you don't get that at a young age. It's hard to adopt it later on. You know, and plus my family has tremendous bad teeth. You know, my mother has no teeth. My grandmother had no teeth. You know, so it's a DNA thing too. So and I don't care. I don't beat myself up over it. My mother has no teeth, but she won't answer the door without putting her teeth in. You know, and she won't go out the door without putting her teeth in or having her teeth on her so that she can put them in, you know. And she won't talk to you when she has no teeth. You know, so it's all fucked up. And she's fucked up. She's a narcissist. The narcissists are all about image. and that's all they care is how people look at them, how people see them, and I'm I'm the opposite. I don't care, I don't really care. What you think makes little to no difference to me. I like it when people like me. I like it when people compliment me. I think anybody does. I don't know anybody who says don't compliment me. Unless they really feel bad about themselves and they can't believe it. That's when they feel bad. They don't want the compliment. Because they think you're lying first off. They don't want to be lied to. So that's kind of that. But for the most part, I'm good. I mean, I don't need compliments. I don't need validation. I don't need approval. I don't ask for people's permission to do anything. And I'm not gonna. I never did, and I'm not gonna start now. Uh, but the pimple thing, it goes further. Of course, I'm just talking about a pimple, but the hairstyle. People, I love when people go into a barber shop and they have a picture of an actor or somebody from a magazine, and they're like, "I want that," and the barber's like, "Yes, Christmas is coming too." yeah, yeah, it's like self-image. It's a terrible thing, especially if you don't have a healthy one. And you're insecure. Oh, God. See, I'm just laying around doing nothing. But people are so insecure, and it reflects. You know, my friend Michael, he was a truck driver, and he was 20 years old. He was a truck driver. And he had a girlfriend, I think one of his first, and very insecure man. And he called me up and he asked me to go to the store with him and buy him condoms. I'm like, you're 20 years old, you can't buy a condom, you know. So I'm like, maybe you shouldn't be having sex if you can't buy a condom. I think it's a bar you have to reach, in order to do it. Uh, but that's how insecure he was. He couldn't go into the store and pick up a box of rubbers, or because you had to ask for them. They're behind the counter. That was the biggest problem, you know. But it's just him buying it, it just wasn't gonna happen. And I played with him, I played with him when he called me up and when I got in his truck and he took me to the store and gave me the money and I'm like, you want ribbed? you want you want extra large? You want small? What am I getting here? I'm like, I started playing with him. That's having fun. He was getting very pissed off. I don't think he knew that there were those options. But anyway, I went in, I got it, and I brought it out. To me, it's no big deal. I was like, whatever, you know. And it's like guys that have a problem buying their wife or their girlfriend's tampons. It's like, what do you think? The cashier thinks you're going to use them? I mean, what do you care? What's the big deal? I don't see the issue. But many men have an issue with it. They don't want to be seen carrying that bag. But or diapers. I guess some men have a problem with diapers. Uh, but I don't have a problem with any of it. I worked at a pharmacy and I used to get paid to deliver adult diapers to old people that wear diapers. Believe me, the adult diaper business is a lot bigger than the baby diaper business. They charge a lot more because they're bigger. You know, and they're covered by Medicare and Medicaid, so they have that too. Uh, but I never had a complex like that. I'm not insecure. When I had a girlfriend, she could do whatever she wanted. And if she screwed up, then that was it. It was over. I don't need to police her. If I need to police her, I don't have the right girlfriend. And a lot of girls don't like that because they're used to being policed. Their father policed them. Every boyfriend they had policed them. Where you going? What time you coming home? How come you didn't answer your call? How come you didn't answer your phone? How come you didn't call me? How come you know? if this happens, do this. If this happens, I just left them alone. I'm like, you got a brain in that head, use it. I'm like, that doesn't mean I don't care. I thought it was showing them that I cared more because I wasn't trying to control them and manipulate them and that kind of control shows your insecurity, not your security. And shows how, and it has a ripple effect too. Like with Michael, with the condom, if you went to a party and he had his girlfriend there, you couldn't talk to the girlfriend. The minute you talk to that girlfriend, Mike would be on you like flies on shit, and it'd be the worst thing you ever did, But it was like the pebble in the lake, the ripple effect, just started with the condom and then it went to don't talk to her, and then all this other stuff. So, and it didn't last. They broke up, but she broke up with him, of course, because he's an asshole. But some girls stay with that, 'cause they're they don't think they can get another boyfriend, whatever reasons. They're insecure too. They don't know what they can do. So it's just, and like Trump is very insecure. He's extremely insecure, and that's why he's a narcissist. So narcissists are insecure. And he didn't like being booed at the World Cup. He did not like that, and because he can't deny it. It was so obvious. It was public. It was on the news. Every news channel played it, even Fox, and nothing you can do. Can't take it back. And then he went after Canada the next day, because he got booed. You know, he had to show how big his dick was. You know. But it's just, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna get rid of these people, and you're not gonna change them. You can't turn an insecure person into a secure person. Uh, so you you have to change yourself and not change them. Change the way you react to them. Change how you handle them. Might mean ignoring them, but ignoring them is growth for you, rather than trying to change them and educate them and stuff like that. You can educate them all they want, but you're not going to talk to that girlfriend, no matter what you do, because he's set on that, you know, Eh, and it's just I'm not here to fix the world. Uh, I'm here to help you. Uh, I'm here to educate you. I'm a teacher. Uh, I know a lot of things about a lot of things. Uh, I'm good at what I do. Uh, I'm not afraid to broach subjects that most people won't broach because of the backlash. Like I talk about blacks, I talk about race, I talk about immigrants, I talk about Jews, I talk about everybody. I talk about myself. I don't take myself off the list. It's not all about them, all about me. It's all about everybody. And they know people know that about me, and they like that. Some like it, some hate it. You get both sides. With the pimple thing, some people uh, they know I am pointing out a pimple, and they're thankful for it. They're like, oh, until you, I didn't know what happened. I didn't know. I didn't know. And other people are like, I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. Thanks for nothing. It's like, and you don't know who's who until it's already done. The deed is done. Uh, so you just have to hope that they're happy. 99% of the time they're not, because most people don't want to be pointed out their flaws. Nobody likes to be called stupid, and that's why my stupid again hat is such a good hat, because it calls the people that voted for him stupid, which they are. Uh, so it's not a lie, but they don't like it being broadcasted. Um, but the ones that didn't vote for him and know that those people are stupid, they laugh, they love it, they want to take a picture with me. So you get both sides of the spectrum, you know, and it's just It's not a bad thing. It's healthy. It's healthy to have both sides. Balance. Everything's balance. Buddha taught balance. You know, um, too much good is no good. Too much bad is no good. You gotta have the middle. And I'm the middle. You know, there's God or devil. I'm or O, and there's God or devil on both sides. You know, and I balance them out. They love me, they hate me, both of them. God loves me, God hates me. The devil loves me, the devil hates me. You know, they want to control me, and then they want me to be free on both sides. So or they want to control me and not have the other side control me. Or they want to control me and not have the other side control me. So it's like a dichotomy. It's always a going up and down the scales. Uh, so and I feel like a yo-yo, in a way, because the yo-yo is balanced too, with speed, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I'm happy. I'm happy. My personality and my my soul, my heart stuff. I have an impact on people. My aura, you know, and it's so obvious. You know, when I walk into a room, the room shifts, the room changes. Um, and like I said, people like with the hat, they're either happy to see me or they want to kill me. So it's just, and you never know which one you're gonna get until it's too late. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're gonna get. So it's just I'm pretty good at telling who's who. I know before they open their mouth who's who. I can tell who likes my hat, who doesn't. It's all over there. It's right over here. I like your hat. I hate your hat. It's right there, and I can read it. Nobody else can read it, but I can read it, so I know. But there's nothing I can do about it. I can't. If you hate me, then you hate me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to take off the hat or change the hat because you don't like it. You know, and I win either way. I win either you love it or you hate it. I win because the hat says it all. you know, and and it shows the pimple. The people that voted for him have a pimple on their face. That they're an idiot. It's like, and the hat brings it out. The hat shows them that they're an idiot. Nobody calls them an idiot for voting for him until they see the hat, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, because now it's been a while, but they're reminded every day they read the news what they did, and the mistake they made. Uh, and the real idiots don't think they made a mistake. But again, you're not going to change them. You're not going to do anything that's uh, going to correct their errors in their thinking because they don't think they have an error. The one thing with an idiot is an idiot doesn't think he's an idiot. An idiot thinks he's smart. And he's an idiot. And everybody else knows he's an idiot, but he thinks he's a genius. He's just misunderstood, that kind of thing. And that's just not the case. But you know, and the problem with school is schools today, at least, but everybody gets a trophy. It's like there's so many losers out there, and they're giving them trophies. It's not helping anybody. They think it is. Yeah, right away he goes home with a smile because he got a trophy and he's not crying because he lost. But he'll never be a winner because he never cried. You have to lose to win. You know, Success is the accident of failure. You have to fail a lot to succeed, and if you're not allowed to fail, you'll never succeed. And um, I think if you expect everything you do to be a winner, you're missing it. You're missing. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, something's not right. Every time you get out the bat, you hit a home run. You know right away something's not right. Something's not right there. Uh, I'm sure the batter wouldn't complain. Well, the coach wouldn't complain, but he'd be cheating. He was using a special bat, or the ball is special. Something would be different. Something wouldn't be right where it would be legal. If it's legal, you don't hit a home run every time you go up to the plate. So, you know, and that's what I'm saying. It would be wrong, you know, and they'd be it's like when you go to the casino. If you win a lot of money, they're like, this guy's cheating. We haven't figured out how he's doing it, but we know he's cheating. We're going to take off his shoes. We're going to strip him in the back room. you know, they'll do whatever they can to figure out how he cheats. You know, so it's just again, it's a pimple. You're winning all the time. Something's wrong. Got a pimple. You know, and I bring that stuff out in people. Just I don't have to say anything. I don't have to do anything. When I look at people, people get upset. They're like, "Why are you looking at me?" I'm like, "Look away." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Go look where I want." They don't like it because they know I see right through them. The mask is invisible to me, you know, and, and they think the mask is all people see, and it's true, they do. But for me, it's not. I'm different that way. I can see right through the mask. And that's why I pissed off my mother for all these years. Why she attacked me since since I was a child, because I was a mirror then too. And she's a narcissist, so the last thing a narcissist wants to be around is a mirror. And she did everything in her power to get rid of me. Everything in her power. She tried to give me away to friends. She tried to put me up for foster care. She tried to do everything she could to get rid of me. And she made me the scapegoat. She made the whole family hate me uh, because she wins that way. It's just, well, they hate him instead of hating me, which is they really should hate her because she's the evil one. But she doesn't want that, so she made everybody hate me and made me look like the evil one. So it was the paradox of the whole situation, and nothing you can do about it. I can cry over it, but I'm gonna just get salty. My eyes will be so, you know what I mean. It's just ridiculous. And do I wish it didn't happen? Of course. Can I change it? No. Is it the best thing that ever happened to me in my life? Yes. Because it taught me discernment. It taught me to be authentic. It taught me to be myself. And when I was younger, um, I was authentic then, um, but I thought it was wrong to be authentic then. I thought I was making a mistake. I thought I was being a bad boy, kind of thing. And now I know I was being a good boy. I was being honest. I was being good before the eyes of God or the universe. And it didn't matter what my mother thought or my relatives thought. Uh, they thought that way because, see, with me being the scapegoat, me being the one that got punished all the time, and I was being authentic and I was being real all the time. It she was teaching everybody else, don't be authentic, don't be real. Otherwise, this is going to happen to you. What's happening to him? And everybody was like, well, I don't want to be in his shoes. I don't want to. I don't want to go down his road. I'll be fake. I'll lie. I'll do whatever I have to do just to stay on your good side. So she's the matriarch of the family. Everybody thinks she's the best, and she's the most horrible person on the planet. But nobody thinks that. And when you point it out, then you look even worse. Like, oh, you're just a bad guy trying to deflect your being bad. It's like excusing yourself for being a child molester. It's like, yeah, but and when you're a child molester, there's no but. You're a fucking loser, and that's it. But when you're saying yeah, but it just makes you look more like a loser. And when you're fighting against a narcissist and you're saying yeah, but it makes you look more like a loser. So there's no way of winning. The only way to win with a narcissist is just to leave the room and never go back. And then when it's your mother, it's not like a boss or a classmate or a workmate. You can't just walk away. It's hard. I mean, I guess you can, but it's hard. you know. And for many years, I didn't know she was a narcissist. I thought I was the crazy one, and that's what narcissists do. They make you feel like the crazy one. They make you think you're the crazy one. They make you second guess every idea you made and every decision you made. And so you're the one. And I've been in psych wards, right? Because I had a narcissist mother that made me crazy, you know, and in the eyes of the government because she was telling them all the things to have me labeled as crazy because that makes her look good, you know. If I'm crazy, I'm down here and she's up here because she's not crazy, you know. When it's really like this, but it's the world thinks it's like this, you know. And that's the paradox. That's the paradox, you know. So, you know, can I get mad? Why? What for? You know, the people that discard me because of what my mother did, they're not worth it. They're pieces of garbage like her, you know, so it doesn't matter. I didn't lose anybody good, you know, and anybody, my mother, like a girlfriend or something, my mother chased all my girlfriends away and made them feel miserable because I wasn't supposed to be happy. I wasn't supposed to have friends, and I don't have any friends because of her, because of what she did in my life, you know. And I could tell you stories all day, but you know, if they allowed her to chase them away, then they really weren't worth it, you know. And it really doesn't matter. I didn't lose anybody good, you know. And like they say, don't get bitter, get better. And that's what I did. I didn't get bitter. I don't hate her. I don't. I don't want to see anything bad happen to her. Uh, she's 77. She lives by herself. She lives with my brother, which is like living by yourself. You know, and he's a narcissist too. And she trained him the way she wants him. She does everything that she wants. And so, you know, it's just I didn't make her, and I can't break her. And you know, her mother was a piece of shit. You know, and her father was a victim of her mother. You know, so and he had his problems as well. All he cared about was baseball. You know, but he baseball was an escape for him because he didn't care about baseball. He died young at 65. That he probably would have died a lot younger if he didn't like baseball. You know, it's just a whole family chain of crap, chain of losers, one loser after another. You know, and my father's side, they're all losers. You know, it's just, and my father's side was the Rice family. If you go to the Albany Capitol in Albany, the state government of New York, uh, there's a statue on the property at the Albany Capitol, and that's in commemoration of my family. It's the Rice statue, and I'm one of the Rice descendants. But they're all losers. You know, it doesn't matter. Look, just because you have money doesn't make you not a loser. And I think that's what you got to learn. You know, is that money doesn't mean anything. Money is worthless. Money is valued at how you value it. And if you value it to be high, which is what the rich people want you to do, they want you to value money high. That's why they drive the cars and live the houses and do the things they do. They go on their vacation because they want you to work for your $5 an hour so that somebody out of you will have the same life someday, which you won't. But they want you, they don't tell you that, but they want you to believe if you work hard, you can go far. And it's really not true. It's really not true. The people that go far are the ones that steal, rob, and manipulate the system until they get caught. But, you know, the honest people get crushed because they don't want honest people at the top because they're not honest. They don't want to hang out with you, you know. You know, it's like you don't do drugs. You don't go hang out at the drug dealer corner. You know, when there used to be one now that because of cell phones, there's no drug dealing corners anymore. But you don't go hang out with the drug dealers if you're sober, and You don't get high. You don't do anything. You don't go there because you don't belong. Well, if you're not a scumbag and a loser, you don't belong in the rich people. Look at Trump. He's a scumbag. Elon, he's a scumbag. Bill Gates, he's a scumbag. They're all scumbags. So they don't want you if you're not. You know, and they go out of their way to make sure you don't become part of their club. It's like when you go to the golf club. You know, if you're not a scumbag, you're not going to be a member. You know, if you screw people over, and steal their money, and rape their women, you'll be the president of the club. You know, so the same with the church. You know, if you rape children, you'll be the priest. You know, but if you're good to children, they'll send you off to Antarctica. You know, so whatever. Screw the penguins, I guess. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I hope the video and I hope the audio worked, because I'm not going to remake this video again if it didn't work. So, everybody, have a good day. Enjoy your life. You know, don't let the pressures of life get weigh you down. You know, don't worry. You know, when you worry, that means you don't believe in God, because God's got you. God's got you. And if you're bad, if you're evil, well, you should worry, because God's going to get you. You know, God's going to get you. So you know, he got you know all the people that R. Kelly, P. Diddy, he got them. You know, it's just Bill Cosby. He got Bill Cosby good. You know, what's his face? So many names I can't even begin. And he got Trump. Trump is not happy. Trump is miserable. So you know, and the Republican, all the Republican members, they're miserable too, because they know the hell they're gonna face when he's not in charge anymore. So you know, it's just don't worry about it. God's in charge, not you. And remember that.